Hey, we did do it. Made it. I made it back. I'm back this time with just a cold. I am extremely tired, yes, but I am alive. It has been a whirlwind of 2, 3 weeks. I can't remember how long it's been. Everyone is saying you're muted.
I'm not. It's been 3
Okay.
weeks you've been gone, but 2 weeks that you weren't on the podcast.
Oh, okay. Is that okay? Yeah. I mean, my trip was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
Well,
how have
two
you
and a
been? What have you
half,
been up
right?
to?
Like it was.
No, the trip itself was 2 weeks, but I did leave on like a Wednesday. That's why I was thinking like, did I miss three
Yeah.
episodes? Like, did it line up kind of like that? I
Well, I
don't
thought you might
fully
not be
remember.
here for this one because I didn't know if you were coming in today or yesterday.
Yesterday, but I'm
Yeah.
still very jet lagged.
Sure. Yeah. I was planning. I was thinking like, am I gonna have to plan a solo show? Then I was like, well, it'll be short, but I can get one
Uh,
done.
I played some games. I'm here to talk about some video games, but
Well, talk
yeah,
about
no,
your
my trip
trip
was
first. Yeah.
my
Yeah.
yeah, trip was good. Just as a reminder, I did the Czech Republic, Germany, Austria, and then a really short kind of day trip into Slovakia.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and it was good if people were following along on like my Instagram or something. I was posting lots of pictures and videos of what I was up to.
Yeah.
Prague is one of my favorite cities I've ever been to. I travel a lot, and that city is now very high on my favorites. So I cannot recommend enough going to Prague. So pretty, so many travelers. So I was just like out partying every night. It was great. Nuremberg, Germany was boring.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Luckily, I
remember
only
reading
had
that.
2 nights there. Regretted going to Nuremberg, Germany. Munich, on the other hand, was super fun. Once again, met a lot of cool travelers. Was out every night with people. Had a really good time. Went to a just insanely beautiful castle about an hour and a half, 2 hours outside of Munich. It's the castle that Walt Disney based the Disney Castle on when he was
Okay.
designing that.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, I think it's I don't know if it's written something like Neuschwanstein Castle, something like that.
Okay.
Um, so that was like I'm not even being hyperbolic. The views, like the scenery that around the castle was literally magical. It was so gorgeous. So that was definitely a high point as well.
Nice.
Then into Austria, Salzburg, which is where Mozart is from.
Okay.
Followed by Vienna, which was a pretty crazy city.
What was crazy
And it
about
was
it?
just it's like you can just tell this city is, or at least in the past was so rich because
Oh,
like
yeah.
all the buildings are insane. Like you're used if you go to a lot of European cities, it's like okay, they have an old town because all of the European cities are old, and it's like hey, the old town is where the like big cathedral is going to be or the big kind of fancy old looking building. This one it was just like nonstop. They have so many of those
Sure. Right.
because it was such a massive capital for them. Um, what was really great, I was meeting all these travelers. We're connecting on Instagram and stuff, and going out and having a good time with them. And then because a lot of people are kind of doing like a similar thing I am, where they're hitting a few cities, and some of our routes would overlap. I would be seeing them again in other cities, and then we would hang out again, and it was just that was such a good time. Made so many friends. Um, and yeah, so then after then Vienna, did a quick day trip into the capital of Slovakia, Bratislava. That was pretty small, but I was like, hey, it's 45 minutes away. I can go into another country. So I did that. And then, yeah, and then my travel day home, I started in Vienna and I had to get to Prague to fly. But from hostel to my apartment, it was 38 hours. That
Yeah, that's
was
brutal.
that was insane. That was absolutely crazy. It was just nonstop, like whole because like it starts off with like 6 hour train to Prague, then sitting at the airport for 5 hours waiting to fly, couple hour flight to London, 10-hour layover where I barely was able to find a bench that didn't have the like anti-sleep arm rests between each one of those.
Yep.
I
Yep.
finally found one. I actually managed to sleep for like 7 hours on that bench, which was a shock to me.
Nice.
But thank God, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to sleep on the plane. So then after that 10-hour layover, 10-hour flight to San Francisco, followed by a 45-minute wait in the customs line because they did not care about getting us through that quickly. And
Right.
then like an almost 2-hour BART like subway ride back to my apartment. And then I went to the gym.
Did you just completely pass out when you finally laid down in your bed?
Yeah, I
Just
went to
like
sleep
dead.
at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Slept for 9 hours.
9 hours. That's funny because it's like that's a big amount, but
It was good. Like
yeah.
I
When
need
you're a
it. I'm,
creature of
I'm after
habit,
this.
being a little bit over is quite a bit. But like usually people are like, yeah, I slept for like 14 hours straight or whatever.
I don't know if like I can't remember the last time I've ever slept for 14 hours. Would have had to probably may have been like really sick or something. 14 is quite a bit. Keep
Yeah.
in mind, I'm also like I'm jet lagged, so
Yeah.
my body is wanting to wake up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I got 9. I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my trip. It was a really good time. Check out my Instagram if you want to see some photos. What about you? I haven't talked to you in a couple weeks. What's new with you?
Um, Not just holding the line here. We chatted a little bit before going live here. I was sick 2 weeks ago, and I was saying
Yeah.
that was also just a cold. So, but of course, it hit the hardest the day that we were supposed to record, which is why it was such a last minute, like we're not going, sort of thing. Because
Okay.
I was planning to Wednesday night. I was like, well, I'm coughing a little bit, but like I'll be fine. And then Thursday hit, and it's just nothing but coughs. But we did a show
Sure.
last week with John. It's too bad that you were gone for 2 weeks, because those 2 weeks a lot of news happened in the gaming
Yeah.
industry.
Yep.
A lot of news. So we did
I
a
was
giant
following
show.
along. I had my phone. I was following all of this. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's just nuts. Like when we get to the new stuff, I almost want to bring up a few big things and just see like have you weigh in on them as well, because some of
Sure.
them were huge.
Okay.
But yeah, no, just games are coming out, and I'm trying to keep
Oh, you're
up.
telling me. You're telling me like I got preview events. I've got bookings for the next couple weeks. Like games are happening for sure.
They are.
But let's get right into it then. This is the Top Down Perspective, May 23rd. I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
And what have you been playing?
I don't remember if I said it on here, but I finished Rebirth. I don't think I did, because I think I just had the last little bit. I was at the point of no return last week, so
Okay. You're free?
Rebirth is done. Yeah. At some point, I'm sure we'll talk at length about that thing, because there's a lot to talk about.
Did you do everything, or did you just finally say, "Nah, I'm just finishing this game"?
There is one final mission. There's one side quest where you have to do all the mini games on a harder difficulty, essentially, like an expert level
what?
one. The
Never
alternate
doing
party
that.
animal one. You didn't do that one, where some dude challenges you
I
to get like the highest score possible, like to beat his score essentially on everything.
I don't remember someone even saying that to me. No.
Okay, so I did almost all of those
That's nonsense,
except
though.
for
Like,
one.
if I was like if I was in that world, if I was Cloud and someone said that to me, I would punch them right in the teeth.
Yeah, and they're not going to do anything about it because you could kill them. Like, yeah. So, anyways, I did a bunch of those mini games again, and
Oh my God.
it wasn't too bad, because doing this, I not only got the side quest done, but I also got the hard mode versions all done at the same time. So it kind of felt like I was gaming the system a little bit, because I went through all of them. And then for people who don't know, all those games unlock a harder difficulty later again, and they're like, you can go back and try your hand at this or whatever. I was like, there's no way I'm doing that. But this side quest is like a harder difficulty of those for score attacks, basically. And I was like, fuck it, we're here, this is like the last thing, let's do it. And I did all of them except for the Musclehead Arena or Coliseum one, because some of the fights they have you up against are fucking ridiculous, and I got sick of it.
Okay.
That's it. Otherwise, yeah, I did everything except also I didn't want to do the, you know about oh my god, what's his name now? Gilgamesh Island and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fight each summon 2 at a time. I just don't care. I don't care enough, especially because when
I
it's unlocked, it's like at the end of the game. So, oh, I would get to use it for like the last 2 hours. Fuck off. Who cares?
Yeah, I remember mentioning this to you, and you were like, "Oh, that sounds great. I'm gonna do
It
that."
does.
I remember you saying that.
Gilgamesh specifically sounds great. I don't want to do the fights before it, mainly because they're just so tanky. They don't take damage. I tried my hand at one of them, and I was just like, this is probably one of the easier ones because this summon kind of sucks, and this is fucking annoying, so there's no way.
Okay, no spoilers, but like, were you able to like comprehend or follow what was happening at the end there?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, it's pretty much the exact idea that they were getting with the end of Remake as well. There's like,
Okay.
I don't
I
know,
lost the plot. When I
different
was
realities or parallel versions of things. There's jumping between different versions of things for sure going on, but
Okay.
it it is a little messy.
Well, I don't want to get into too much.
It's a little messy,
stuff.
but
Yeah.
the end I enjoyed, because I think the thing that I still really like is when you're just doing story things with all those characters and then they're interacting. And so like with the side stuff behind me and the last 5 to 6 hours is nothing but story beats and a big stupid anime boss fight. Like, yeah, this is what I like. So, okay.
I was pretty done. Like, that dungeon is long, and I was
That dungeon
definitely
is
I was already in
long.
a mindset of like, I need this game over. So it was just kind of I was just kind of done.
It helped that I took a
It's
Stellar
such a
Blade
big
break
game.
between.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
helped a lot. Because when I came back in, I was kind of like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to go back in. So,
Okay.
it
Yeah.
helped.
No, I definitely powered my way through that because I needed it over.
That would have been frustrating. That last dungeon, like you said, is very long. And then that final couple fights, I'll say, are
Yeah, it's like there's like
fucking
5 parts to
ridiculous.
it or something. Yeah.
So that would have annoyed me if I was like trying to rush, for sure. That would have annoyed me. Otherwise, I played Crow Country. This is a survival horror game that John talked about a little bit last week. I played through that. It's pretty short. It's about 5 hours.
Yeah, a lot of people on the internet are talking about this, like PS1 style.
Yeah, like a PS1 throwback type style. Definitely more of the puzzly aspects of like a survival horror. Combat's in there as well, but as John was saying, there is like an accessibility option where you can just turn off enemies essentially and make it basically just like a giant haunted escape room sort of thing and not have to worry about the annoying shit in the middle. Which would be kind of cool because some of that stuff is really annoying to get around. So that I like that they added that. That game is really, really cool though. That's definitely just completely up my alley. It's
I was just about to ask, is it really vibing with you? Because I would have assumed it would have.
Yeah, it's easily like so far a top 10 game for me. I loved it.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm looking forward to going back into it and unlocking more stuff because I'm guessing there's different endings or at least different unlocks for doing better. Because it was like I got like a B plus rank and they're like B plus, you unlocked the like I think the crowbar, which is a great play on words and also a thing. So I'm kind of excited to see what that is. Yeah. Yep, I've used one a few times. Yeah, Crow Country is really good. I keep trying to not call it Crow County. I can't get my head around it for some reason.
Yeah, I want to say that too. I don't know why I want to say that.
Right? But... yeah, it's weird. But that game is great. I can't wait to play more of it. The other game that I started last night is Hellblade II, Senua Saga, Hellblade II. And I really, really like Hellblade 1 a lot. There's something about this that I'm just like bored, and I don't know if it's just like, yeah, it's just boring. It's fine. It has a couple parts that are like the big cool thing is happening, and those are great. But the first like hour, I just felt like a slow slug crawling around and doing nothing until you get like a sword, and then you get one fight in basically, and it's like, okay, now we're picking up a bit, but I don't know, it's not vibing with me the same way that the first one did, and I can't really tell why. So I
How far into it are you?
uh 2.5, 3 hours.
Okay. How long to beat has it at? Like 6 hours. So it's a short one. Um, I'm actually kind of surprised how short it is, considering how
Mm.
long this thing has been in development.
Well, some people
Um,
were saying it's 10 hours, and then other people are saying it's 5, so I don't know where the hell the truth is in there.
well, I know just like the like main quest or whatever on how long to beat was like six and a half. I was looking
Gotcha.
at this morning. I basically started it, I guess technically last night, but I just kind of got through the opening cutscene and then
Yeah.
immediately was like, I need to sleep like right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So this morning I put probably an hour and a half, two into it. I just saw the big lady.
Yeah, so like it ended off with you on like the hilltop or whatever basically, and
Yeah, like we climbed out of a
that's
hole
that's
after the big
literally
lady.
exactly where I ended off too.
Okay. Yeah. So, um, in terms of like the beginning, I think it is a bit slow, kind of on purpose. The game also it's kind of interesting. It doesn't tell you how to play it like at
True.
all.
It's very true. Yeah.
But every time you pause it, like all the commands are right there on the screen, so it's not like it'll be too hard to figure it out.
Yeah.
But like you do your first little tutorial battle, and it doesn't teach you how to do attacks, how to do strong attacks, but the narration, the voices are still there, and they'll be like, "Oh, you need to do a harder attack," and it's like, okay, well, one of these has to be the strong attack, and because it's a video game, it's like, okay, well, X is attack and Y is the strong
Yeah.
attack.
It's either those or
Um,
like the triggers or something. It's one of those two combinations.
at this point, basically, yeah. So there's just kind of a lot of trial and error. Um, I do like that it has the like the whispers, the voices again. I think the voice acting is so good. Like I don't know how they're making this VO so like crisp, but it just sounds so nice. And there's all the different voices. Like there's the real deep male voice, and then like yeah, like I was
Yeah,
talking
like
about all the
her
whispers coming in.
father or so. Like I don't
I
remember
think
the
it's her father.
characters, but
Yeah, I
yes.
mean they do have like a recap of the first game, but I was still just I kind of lost, like my eyes glazed over a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, what is weird? Do you have subtitles on?
I turned them on about an hour in or so.
Yeah, so the any kind of like main narration or dialogue will be kind of in the middle in
Yeah.
larger font, and then the whispers, the voices, they're in smaller fonts, and they'll be on like the kind of the corners.
Yeah.
And I almost want to turn them off because those things are so constant. It's just like something kind of popping up like nonstop along the bottom.
Yeah.
Um, the game also does the kind of God of War like one take, one cut, like no cuts in the camera angles thing.
Yeah, it
However, this
does.
game's letterboxed, and God of War isn't, so that's just a little bit of a bummer because it hasn't been that long for me specifically playing through God of War, the Ragnarok DLC. So like I was, it's kind of fresh in my head.
Right.
So seeing this one kind of letterbox is just a bummer because it's like, man, that's like 25% of my big TV I don't get to use for what I have to assume is like a tech reason, or you know, um,
Yeah.
it's been a long time since I played the first one, so I'm having a hard time kind of comparing it to that. I'm enjoying myself. I think this game looks so good. Especially anytime they like zoom in on someone's face, like
Hmm.
I think the graphics are really incredible. And then yeah, that big lady, that looked so fucked up.
It's yeah, she's very freaky. Very cool though. Yeah. I don't know. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the
There was
like
also like you would have just done it. There was like a battle. We had to fight like a lot of guys kind of back to
yeah.
back.
Hmm.
And I feel like the combat in this is like it almost kind of reminds me of Uncharted, where when you were having kind of like a fist fight or a close quarters fight, it was really dynamic. You were bouncing off things. Drake was putting his hands down on stuff. Like it wasn't just a character model hitting some kind of like invisible wall that was a bench or whatever. Like it actually felt like you were in a place grabbing the bottles and whatnot. I kind of feel like that's a bit similar here. Is like the combat just seems so frenetic, and there's so much different, unique animations of how she'll like fight. Like it's not just like when you hit X, she's going to do this attack animation, and then every now and then, if you do a dodge, then an X, it'll be this one. It's like not. It could be. It's almost like it's random. There's like 9 different ways she's going to attack somebody, and then you would just that just expands out versus like, did you do a dodge first? Did you do a heavy attack? Did you do a counter? Are you looking this way? Like it just seems like there's so much, and I'm really liking that aspect of it too, and that kind of goes hand in hand with just how good it looks.
Yeah, I think the combat's absolute dog shit, and I don't like it at all. It does look good,
What's
but
wrong with the
it's
combat?
just bad. It feels bad. The parry is bad. The dodge feels weird and laggy. Everything about it is kind of bad. But
I didn't get any of that. I thought the parry, like I was hitting the parry, which is kind of a unique one for me. So I was liking that. I also, and I think the new thing is the like the mirror focus that
the
wasn't in
mirror
the
thing's
first one,
good.
right?
I don't remember. That's good. I think it's necessary for some enemies, right? I'm not actually sure, but those like glassy type enemies seem, at least they're way
Yeah,
easier
I
if you
mean,
use
the
it.
glassy enemies, they've only shown up the one time for me, and it was when I got the mirror. So I've only kind of done like that tutorial fight. Have they shown up for you again?
Yeah, they show up like shortly either before or after the giant. You're in like another dark area
Okay, so
with the
you're a little
voice.
further than me then. So,
I don't think so.
um,
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know where we both left off, but there was like another area where the boomy voice is kind of taunting you, and like there are insta kill sections where if you go down the wrong path, you just die basically. What
no, I haven't done that. No.
interesting.
So yeah,
Okay.
you must be a little bit further ahead. Yeah.
Okay. That's probably the next thing you're going to do then. And like you fight
Yeah,
them
sounds
there
like it.
too, and yeah, that mirror makes them like such a joke, but it's so nice. Like I really like that thing.
It's cool, and I think the glassy enemies, like, they look cool.
They do.
I don't think there was any kind of this like broken sharded glass visuals in the first game. That not that I
I
can
don't think
remember. So
I also don't
yeah,
think
so
so.
that's kind of nice that there's some new stuff in here going on. Um, but no, I think it's good. Like it's kind of like I don't know, the most action heavy walking simulator I've
Yeah,
played.
sure.
Um, which is that's great for me. I like walking simulators quite a bit, and
Yeah,
this is
they're
just
fine.
game is just full of cool vibes.
I do like the vibes primarily. I heard somebody saying that they don't play much of these games like at one time because the like constant voices and stuff actually drives them nuts. I don't have any of that problem. I think it's fine personally. Um,
I even remember saying on this show when I was playing the first one that I could not play it in headphones because the voices were too much. I'm actually
mm.
not having that problem this time. I don't know
It feels like
what's different
less,
about me.
which would make narrative sense because I think she started being able to control it a little bit at the end of the first one. I think that was like a major beat where she was able to kind of chill them out. They were more incessant, I think, in the first one.
Okay. They don't seem chill in this one. Like they're still just talking shit about
They do
anything
talk shit.
I do or anything I don't do.
Yeah.
Um, but because I started it with just with like the sound bar and the regular speakers,
Mm,
and I was like, oh no, I feel like I should put the headphones on and get the kind of real experience. So that's what I've been doing. But
mm,
it does make me want to kind of go back and play some of that first game again because it has been so long.
yeah,
But there's also a million games out, so who knows if that's ever going to happen.
totally. Yeah. I can't wait for like the set pieces that really pull me through because I think if I remember back to that first one really hard, there are parts that I just felt were boring and kind of shitty also in that. But like the part the parts that stand out from the first one are like when you're fighting the like demon dog, the like Cerberus in that one like cave that just keeps like jumping out at you to you in the darkness and like
Okay.
just like these big
Yeah.
set piece moments. And I think that's kind of what this game is also going to be because like right now it's basically only been the giant that's like a big set
Well,
piece
I
thing.
thought the fight right before it, like the big group fight where there was other humans being like, "Look out over there" and stuff, and when you're trying to save that one dude, I thought that was pretty
It was
fun.
okay. Yeah, that was fine.
And then yeah, the giant was just like visually very cool for sure.
So yeah, I'm basically just excited to see those moments that will stick with me, because I think that's kind of what they're pushing anyways. So even though I'm saying like, yeah, it's kind of boring to me or whatever, it's because I also don't think I've hit the stuff that made the first one special for me yet either.
I do feel I do feel a little worried for I guess
Yep,
Ninja Theory
me too.
and then kind of Xbox as a whole because this game dropped. It had been advertised for so long. Like I think we even had a somewhat recent or maybe two ago of those like Xbox Directs. I showed another trailer for this, and I feel like I said on this show like I don't need to see any more trailers for this game. Like
Yep.
just put the game out. And it's like I feel like this dropped, and maybe it was my time difference or something, but I just didn't see anyone talking about it.
Yeah. Hmm. It might have been your time difference, because I don't follow a lot of industry people and I've seen a lot of talk about it. I will say a lot of the talk I've seen was a little more negative than I was thinking, and it all revolves around the 5 or 6 hour time and nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah, like I saw the kind of initial like review score drops.
Mm.
And they seemed I don't know, like mixed, kind of more positive, high end mixed. Um but then that was it. Like no one else was really talking about it, and I feel like this was supposed to be one of like the big kind of tentpole releases for Xbox.
That's scary, because like the last one besides Starfield was Redfall, right? So it's like it's one of those things where every time Xbox
Yeah.
says like we're really expecting this is going to be pretty good, and it's middling, like it. I I
No,
I
wait,
don't
wouldn't it have
know.
been Forza? Wasn't that last like in November?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Also, my apologies. Somebody decided to fucking mow at 8:30 at night. Some idiot. So you're gonna hear that in the recording, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, I'll try and noise cancel it out when I'm editing the thing. Oh, that reminds me, you should edit the show because I am going to be on a plane tomorrow morning.
More planes. Yeah, more planes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll throw it together.
Is
Yeah, I don't know.
that it for you
Like,
then?
yes, I think yes, that's it for me.
Okay. Um. So the rest of the stuff was all stuff I was playing on my trip. I was leading up to my trip, I was like, I'm backpacking. I don't want to carry much. I'm picking either the Steam Deck or the Switch, and I had got some review codes in for Animal Well and Lorelai and the Laser Eyes, and I was like, okay, Switch it is. And then like the day before I left, Hades 2 dropped,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, I guess I'm bringing them both. Fuck me. um, but let's talk kind of in that order. Animal Well, I played through that. I beat it on my
Oh
flight
wow.
home.
Okay. How long
You
is
know,
it roughly?
4 or 5 hours. I will say,
Oh,
this is a very Fez-like game where you can get credits, which is what I did, and then there's a whole kind of ARG like.
I was
Did you
told this
notice
is
in this?
upwards of 40 hours. That's why I haven't touched it. I have it. I just haven't installed it because I don't have time. People are like,
Uh,
"Oh yeah, we're still working on it." I'm up to like hour 40 now of checking shit out. It's like, what the fuck? Okay, I guess I'll play these
well,
5 hour bangers first.
I don't know about 40 hours. Like I said, there's supposed to be a whole like bringing the community together. I remember when I was first approached with the code. They were like, "Hey, please come join this Discord. But we're gonna put a
Oh,
bunch of the other like kind of outlets in to try and kind of simulate what it's gonna be like when it actually launches." And there's kind of a community to putting these bigger puzzles together.
right.
And I just I didn't have time to play it at that point, so I
Yeah.
kind of played it as it kind of came out, maybe a week before it came out. So like I'm looking at how long to beat. The main story is like 6.5 hours, so I'm sure mine was probably closer to that time.
Okay.
The completionist is 16 hours. I'd be surprised if they've actually completed everything because I thought there was supposed to be a ton in here, but
That's what I
who
heard
knows
too.
what that actually means. Um, it doesn't seem like anyone's putting in 40 hours as an option. And
Maybe
I'm
they're
just kind
not
of
done
looking
yet.
like, I guess, yeah. I don't know, slowest. I guess someone submitted a 25 hour for the PlayStation. Maybe the PlayStation, no, 26 on the PC. I guess Nintendo Switch only 19. The Nintendo characters, they're just getting through it real quick. They
Yeah,
just
they're
know
just
all the answers.
smarter. They're just smarter
There's
than
also a
most
lot
people.
less of them, so
Yeah,
um,
fair.
Anyways, I played through the credits, so
Yeah,
like 5 or 6 hours. I really like it. I think you guys talked a bit about, or John talked about it last
John did.
week. I
Yeah,
think, yeah. So for those who don't know, it's a Metroidvania that's kind of heavy on the platforming and the puzzle aspect. There's actually no real combat. It's a lot of kind of running away or figuring out your ways around big enemies.
right.
Um, but kind of the big unique thing about it is that the abilities you get are all toys, and there's some pretty like unique mechanics to them that you just kind of don't see in a lot of games. For example, there's like a yo-yo that you can kind of just fling around in different directions. You use that often to hit buttons in little passageways that you can't get through. Slinky the slinky just kind of it goes downstairs. So you'll use this sometimes you use the slinky to like put it on a button if you have to hit two buttons at the same time. But there's a lot of scenarios where you need to like use the slinky, have it start going down the stairs, and then you need to manipulate the geometry so that it's going down the stairs in like specific orders, so it's hitting buttons to open doors for you and stuff like that.
Huh.
And then there's a bunch more of them. I'm pretty sure I was looking up a couple guides every now and then when I was stuck. There's a bunch of toys I just don't even have. Like so, and I saw credits,
Yeah.
which is kind of interesting. So there's definitely more to that game for sure.
Cool.
Um, but no, it's good. And then I also want to just kind of call out that it's like some most gorgeous pixel art I've seen. The lighting specifically is just really nice. It looks really good.
It's very cool looking. Yeah.
Um, Lorelai and the Laser Eye. I was playing this pre-release. I'm so stuck. It's so this is
Okay.
Simogo, um, which Simogo is such an interesting developer. They did like Year Walk, Device 6,
Right.
Sayonara Wild Hearts. They make really kind of like stylish or games that just have so much like tone and vibes to it. Like they're just really good at kind of themes. Um, this is a point and click adventure. It's a single button point and click adventure game. um, where you have come across this weird like mansion hotel kind of thing, and you're just kind of going through it. Um, it's totally grayscale except for like bright pink or bright red kind of lights that will shine off stuff. There's also like blood or paint, like so there'll be like red kind of footprints around every now and then. You're
Right.
just kind of exploring, figuring out like how to get through the locked doors and stuff. When you save the game, tells you what percentage of the truth you've uncovered. I'm at like 17%. Like
Oh.
I'm pretty I got pretty stuck early on, and then the few times, it's been out for a couple weeks now, but um when I was not prioritizing animal well, I just happened to be like on a plane or something without an internet connection. I need to sit down and be like, okay, what's the like next kind of big thing I need to do, because I'm just so stuck.
Right.
It is also a game that says like, hey, you are going to need a piece of paper.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, they were right. Like I was having to do some math pretty early on. They put a calculator in the game for you. I've had to definitely take screenshots so that I could see some different things. It's cool. It like so as even though I'm not too far, the vibes are just like kind of off the chart. They got it. There's a style in there that is extremely cool, and I want to see more. And this thing was getting some pretty crazy review scores. So um, as soon as I can kind of get past the little part that I'm stuck at, get a little help from someone, that'll be good.
I've heard a few people say, I can't remember if it was in our Discord or not. They got stuck in a spot and it's because they didn't know that you could interact with something. So that was like kind of the first big one where it's like once I
Oh,
knew I could interact with this thing, like it was fine. Another person was saying, maybe it was the same person, that they kind of wish it marked off better when you were kind of like done with a room or whatever, or like so that you can make a mental note of maybe I should go back there without having to like look around all the time or something.
oh, okay. Yeah,
That'd be
maybe.
kind of nice.
I feel like I'm so early on. I wouldn't have those requests yet, anyways. But at the
Right.
moment, like I do have a bunch of you know, I don't know how big the whole hotel is, but like I have a ton of access to the hotel so far, and it's like I don't even know kind of like what the next like thing I should be focusing on,
Yeah.
because like there's just so much open to me. Like there are so many like unanswered questions in front of me that it's kind of overwhelming. So I really need to kind of load up a guide and just see like, okay,
What
what
should
is
I
like kind of the
focus on?
next big plot point right
Yeah.
now to kind of like kind of set me on a path. That's kind of where I'm at.
Is there like a hint system or something that could do that in game for you? Do you know?
You do everything that you look at, all the pictures you have you have in the menu. It says photographic memory, so you kind of have access to everything. You don't need to like walk around to look at a poster again or something like that.
Right.
And there will be things like goals. Like every time you come across a locked door, your character will kind of write down in their head, unlock door 1315.
Right.
And so, but the thing is, I have so many goals because I've come across like 900 locked doors.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Right.
so that's
Hmm.
why I'm just like I'm not even really sure like what I need to be prioritizing, what kind of goes to what. Like I have a couple things where it's like this is clearly supposed to be the answer for like one of these locks, but I just can't figure out how, the puzzle, like
Yeah.
how I'm supposed to figure this one out. So,
I
yeah.
got you. Sure.
And then last is Hades 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's out on early access right now. Um but just kind of like Hades 1, like it almost just kind of feels complete at this point already. Like it is just so put together. And I think they were even saying there's already like more content, more voice acting than all of Hades 1 in the
Yeah.
current early access build, which is just nuts to think about because this is going to probably, I'm assuming it's going to follow a similar trajectory of being in early access for like a year, 2 years, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think it was
Probably.
actually close to 2 years.
Yeah.
So like normally I kind of hold off.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm so tired. Hold off playing early access till it's fully out, but it was just like, oh, I gotta play some Hades too. And yeah, it looks and feels so good, and it was Steam Deck verified right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Um I'm picking my Steam Deck with me tomorrow on the flight. Like I'm just gonna play some Hades too.
Yeah.
Have you looked into it at all?
No, I don't care until it's out. Because I know as soon as it's out, I'm gonna go like 90 hours again into it. That's what happened with
Yeah.
Hades 1. I couldn't stop playing it, so I don't want to burn out.
Yeah, I was exactly like that until it dropped, and then something was just like, can't avoid this. Need to play some Hades too.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel
we'll see how
blessed
long that
that I have
lasts.
so many backlogged things that I didn't even consider it for a second. I was like, no, I gotta finish Final Fantasy VII and this and
Okay, so
this and
what's
this.
what's on your current like?
16.
What's the next game
Finish off
you're gonna
16.
start?
Oh, start?
Oh, okay. Yeah, like
Start. I mean, I'm gonna finish Hellblade at this point because that'll be probably one big session.
okay. But what's the next game you haven't started it yet? What's the next game you're gonna start?
It's between Lorelai and the Laser Eyes, Animal Well, and Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown or whatever. It's between
Oh, is
those
that
three.
out? Early access though, right?
No, I'm the Metroidvania from like 2 months ago or whatever, 3 months ago.
Oh, Lost Crown, Lost Crown.
Lost
Okay,
Crown, yeah,
yeah, because Rogue Prince of Persia, they pushed it back like a week
to
to
the
get away from Hades
27th.
2.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Um,
So those are probably
okay.
the three I'm looking at currently, unless something like Shadow drops out of nowhere that I don't know about.
Okay.
Oh no,
Well,
that's not
Haunty
true.
just
Dave
got
the
put
Diver.
on
I just installed it because the Godzilla stuff is out,
Godzilla
so
DLC.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
play that probably this weekend.
Haunty just got put on Game Pass, which I'm excited to play that.
Sorry, what did?
Uh, Haunty, that
Oh,
was a game I
Ponty.
played and
Yep.
talked a bit from Summer Game Fest either last year or 2 years ago. And Little Kitty, Big City. I
Yep.
want to get to
That
that. That came out.
that and Hellblade are what made me re-up on
And
Game
then I
Pass.
want to restart Stellar Blade and actually put some time into that now that I'm
Oh yeah.
back.
Yep. 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 Oh, and
Okay.
another Crab's Treasure. Actually, there's a shitload I still need to start, but I need
Yep.
to focus on finishing a couple of the backlog things first, and then we'll go on those.
Then you got the next month Elden Ring DLC, and that's just gonna
Yeah.
take over, and you know it. So,
Yeah, probably at least 2 to 3 weeks, I would say, of straight playing. I would assume. I would assume.
all right, let's do some news. I'll go over the short stories I have, and then if you want to quiz
Yeah.
me on last week's or whatever. Okay,
Quiz.
so this is a pretty small one. Nintendo acquired. What's it called? Shiver. I was going to say Shiny. Shiver Entertainment from Embracer. They're basically kind of a port house. They most recently
Uh,
worked on Hogwarts Legacy and Mortal Kombat 1. That's pretty much the end of the news here. It's just another acquisition. But I guess it's kind of noteworthy because it's yet another thing leaving Embracer.
sure. Okay. Cool.
This next one's kind of a weird story. I was pretty psyched to
Yeah.
hear it. So the headline here: IGN Entertainment acquires Eurogamer, Game Informer, VG 24/7, Rock Paper Shotgun, and more. Um, so for those who don't know, IGN Entertainment is a division of Ziff Davis that includes IGN, obviously, Map Genie. I don't know what that even is. I have not heard of that. How Long to Beat. I knew IGN owned How Long to Beat, and then
Yeah.
Humble Bundle.
Yeah.
Um, these used to be owned by ReedPop, the company that puts on PAX and New York Comic Con.
Oh, okay.
But now,
Yeah.
the IGN Entertainment owns them, um, which is just kind of weird. Included in there, they do have shares in Digital Foundry. Someone from Digital Foundry did tweet out this should not impact them,
Yeah, I think it was
because one of
John
the
from
other
Digital
things,
Foundry, if I
one of the
remember.
other kind of quotes here is new owner makes redundancies across the gamer network portfolio, meaning a lot of people are about to get laid off.
Yeah, no, this sucks. Digital Foundry is like the only place out of any of these I give a shit about on the internet anymore, because they actually test stuff out and show results and actually talk about the product and not about opinions on things. So that really, really sucks. I hope nothing happens to them. But I kind of
Like
wish
I've
they would just kind of do the like Nextlander type thing of those guys just like, hey, we have a Patreon, and get like $20,000 a month or something to do it.
Yeah, I bet like Digital Foundry, I feel like could do it. Those I watched those videos. Those videos do such good numbers. Like they
They're
definitely
great.
have.
They're the best.
I'm
They're one of the
assuming
best
that's also
things.
probably why they're not getting touched much, is that they're probably doing pretty well for themselves. I have some friends at IGN, so IGN's definitely important to me as well. Humble Bundle, it kind of always will have a place in my heart, um, as just a good company. Like, I don't know what Map Genie is, so apologies. But I hope no one loses their job at
I
Map
th-
Genie. I should quit.
I
I'm gonna
think
quickly
I've
just do a Google
seen.
search for what Map Genie is.
Yeah, okay, Map Genie. I have used them before. They have giant, like an in-game map of a game. They'll basically put an
Yeah.
interactive version online that you can like track things or whatever, or you can pay, I think, a subscription to kind of like have unlimited. They'll like put a checklist to sort of thing, and you can kind of check everything out.
Oh,
I've used
holy
this before, but
smokes.
I don't remember for what. Let me see if I
Yeah,
can
so like
find
if
it.
you're just trying to find all the collectibles, like they have
Yeah,
them.
it's all there. Um,
Wow, holy smokes.
they're really great. I think it was Far Cry. It was a long time ago, but oh, they have everything now. This used to
Got
be kind of
like yeah,
small.
like every game here. I'm looking at like Sandland. Look at Animal Well. Holy smokes. This is kind of fucked up.
The last time I was here, they did not have all these games. This is crazy.
Oh, people are saying Digital Foundry does have a Patreon already.
Okay, good. Yeah, I don't want them to get like touched at all, and I don't
Yep.
want any
I was like,
influence.
I saw like Drag. Oh my god, I saw Dragon Doggo 2 and I was like, what the fuck is that gonna look like? And it's just icons, and then surrounding the map is every like cave.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah. No, Map Genie is. I didn't realize they were this big, but they were pretty cool.
They just have every bit of equipment in here. Oh,
Probably.
this is almost too much knowledge. I don't
It's
know if anyone
it's way too much knowledge. Yeah.
yeah, no one should know all of this. Marvel Spider-Man 2? That's got to be ridiculous looking. Yep. That's nonsense.
Yep.
There's got to be like an Elden Ring. Whoa, God, what does Baldur's Gate 3 look like?
Ballers. Yeah, that's true. That's
Oh,
probably
yeah,
crazy.
that's pretty fucked up.
That's pretty fucked up.
I hope everyone's enjoying our live reactions to looking at game maps, where one after another we say, "Yep, that's fucked."
I'm enjoying it. That's all that matters, right?
Okay, I got it. All right, so Map Genie rocks. Hope no one gets messed up there. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just weird. And then this is barely news because it wasn't real, but there was well, this was like a Wario 64 tweet. Let me find the quote. So this happened this morning and then was kind of debunked, but where there's
Oh.
smoke, there's fire. So I just kind of want to
Oh, this
say
isn't
it, but
real? I read this. Okay. Sure.
okay, I'm just trying to find it because Warrior 64 tweets like a million times a day.
Yeah.
So I just gotta I'm only 9 hours back. Come on.
Only.
Okay, wait. I sent this to someone. Let me look through my Discord messages. Okay, here it is. Oh no, wait. Maybe he deleted that tweet. God damn it. Well, it's still in the Discord chat. Apparently, Jeff Keighley wanted to purchase Games Industry Biz. Quote, this included rejecting an offer from a notable game industry events organizer who wanted to purchase Games Industry Biz to support his high-profile activities throughout the year. So they didn't actually say Jeff Keighley's name. It was just kind of like, well, who else would that be? Jeff Keighley then
Right.
did respond to that with, "This isn't true." Um, so I just I want to kind of say that in case if the
Yeah.
story develops, we kind of we did our part in sending the whole bread trail. But yeah, that was just kind of a weird one.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's funny, but the thing that worries me and like the pessimistic part of me is like, okay, this company now owns part of Digital Foundry. Digital Foundry finds out that the new Star Wars game runs at like 20 frames and is garbage. Maybe that doesn't come out on time now because they bought ad space for them, or like that's the sort of thing that I'm like, I just don't trust any of these fuckers. I don't trust any of them anymore.
Yeah, my big thing is just kind of it's just consolidation, and as we have seen over the past couple of years, a lot of companies
Restructuring.
getting
Yeah.
bought up. Something happens, they don't get some kind of influx of money because of one reason or another, and then they have to lay people off. Whereas before, maybe their own internal metrics would have been like, no, we can keep going, but now they're getting held to a different standard than what they were
Yeah.
used to, and that can be scary. And after we've had game devs getting laid off left and right. Tons of people in the games journalism space have also been losing their job over the last couple of years. So it's just rough if we're going to be kind of continuing that trend. I it is pretty rare I've seen someone get purchased and then it all turned out perfect.
Okay. Yeah,
But
that it turned out fine. True.
yeah,
I just don't trust it.
I yeah, it's I guess we'll see.
Yep.
All right, this last one speaking of purchasing stuff, Atari acquired Intellivision, which
Yes.
is so weird. This is back in the day, this is like rival company number one.
Yep.
Um, I would almost argue like both of these companies are kind of like no one's thinking about them. I guess Atari a bit more. I don't know who's thinking about the Intellivision
Oh,
these
Tommy
days, and I'm sure that's why
Tallarico,
it.
probably.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So there was one guy thinking of the Intellivision. Um,
Yeah.
and maybe I'm sure that's why Atari was able to swoop in and pick it up. But I'll just kind of read the tweet here. We acquired the Intellivision brand and game library. This is the Atari account, by the way. This was a very rare opportunity to unite former competitors and bring together fans of the golden age of gaming. By Wade Rosen. The former Intellivision will rebrand and continue distribution of the Amico console, which that's just a weird sentence. Anytime you talk about the Amico
Yep.
is just a weird look.
It's a weird
And
day.
now that you can go to the Atari.com product, the store, and there are Intellivision branded T-shirts in there. If you were, if your Intellivision T-shirt had maybe gotten stained, maybe it's not fitting as well as it used to, you can go pick up a new one.
Oh yeah, the one that I got back in 1982.
Or
It
whenever you got
shrunk.
it, when you picked one up the one you picked up at like the Hot Topic, I would have to assume. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way Atari like you can't find an Atari shirt at a Hot Topic these days, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They got to make room for the ones that say Bazinga on them. So who knows?
They got a yeah, that's true. I mean, it's last time I was in a Hot Topic, it was like just Funko Pops and then like retro band shirts that
Mm.
were being purchased by people who in no way do they know who this band is.
So like Nirvana and Led Zeppelin are the ones that come to
Yeah,
mind immediately. Maybe a
yeah,
Tupac
absolutely.
one in there too.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anyways, Okay, what did you want to
All right, you've
bring
been
back up
gone
from last week?
for. I mean, the world was exploding in the games industry for a couple days there, depending on like
Yeah.
what side you were on here. So let's just quickly talk about some things that like were kind of big. Did we? Do you care about the Helldiver stuff at all? Now that it's kind of all shaken out a little bit, were you following that? Any?
Yeah, I was following all of this.
Okay,
I was watching everything. I feel like it solved itself.
kind of,
But
yeah.
it was just kind of wild to see. I also did hear um that the community manager who did kind of tweet like and kind of throw Sony under the bus has been laid off, like was let go.
He was let go. Yeah. Also, the CEO is now the chief, like artistic officer or something. He's no longer doing the business part. He's managing the game, I guess, directly.
Okay. Okay.
But that's actual news that happened, I think, recently. I don't know. That doesn't seem to matter. We should talk about the Microsoft thing again because I want to get your thoughts and
Yeah,
takes on
so
them
them
shutting
shutting
down
down Tango and
and Arcane
Arcane
Austin.
Austin. This was really sad. Um, as I played through all of Redfall. I'm one of the few people who has played all of Redfall.
Yeah,
Um, and then yes, I did play through Hi-Fi Rush. I'm not really I wasn't really into the Evil Within games or anything.
or
I played
Ghostwire.
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
I did play Ghostwire Tokyo, yeah. So more kind of the recent stuff. This was sad, and then kind of looking at it on the larger scale was like they were pretty consistently touting Hi-Fi Rush as like an achievement for
Yep.
Xbox.
Yep.
And we see Game Pass. They need games. Hi-Fi Rush was the exact kind of game that was like checking a lot of boxes to them. They were able to shadow drop it, which is very fun. Um,
Yeah.
and it just makes me think if we look out to their other studios, like I'm not seeing a lot of people talk about Hellblade 2.
That's what I mean, I think that's what a
Is
lot of us are scared about right
is
now.
Ninja Theory now worried? And then specifically, I'm like, well, Hellblade 2 was kind of a larger game. It is short, but just from like, visually it looks like a AAA game. Um Hi-Fi Rush kind of fits into that like this is a smaller game. It's a small scale game. It's not a massive thing. They were able to shadow drop it. They didn't need to have a big marketing budget. This is the kind of game that I would have assumed a Double Fine would put out.
Yeah, okay.
Like if Xbox it's sounding like they at one point were like, here is the kind of metrics we are looking at for these games. And they even said that Hi-Fi Rush, it checked all the boxes, they hit all the metrics and expectations.
Yep.
And then it came out that they pitched them at a Hi-Fi Rush 2 and they said no. So, at some point those metrics that Xbox is putting to their internal studios now changed at some point, and
Yeah.
seeing a Hi-Fi Rush 2 not matching that would say to me they want bigger games. They want bigger games from these studios. No, the biggest game that Double Fine could possibly make would be a Psychonauts 3.
Sure.
And that can't be like anywhere. That has to be like at least 5 years out, right? Psychonauts 2 took them quite a while. We saw the documentary.
Yeah.
Um,
If
but
it comes out
Double
at all.
Fine, yeah, like who knows if I can't imagine Double Fine's going right back to Psychonauts. They don't really do sequels; they do smaller games. So, what does that mean for what? Like, I don't see how Double Fine like can possibly not get shut down at this point
That's what I'm thinking too.
if
Every
this is
studio
so
like
black
it.
and white.
Yeah. Well, and like
Like, I think
go on.
Bethesda's gonna be fine.
Of course. Yeah, of course they are.
They're not gonna do anything, and then Activision's gonna be fine. But if you're someone who's just kind of like a suit high up on Xbox, and you're saying, okay, here's the list we have. Why, if money is the only thing, then you're just gonna double down on Call of Duty.
Yes. Right.
Like no matter what any other game you put out there. I mean, I'm sure the next Elder Scrolls will do completely fine.
Well,
But
I
for the
mean,
most part, if
will it
they're
do fine enough though for how like much they would expect it to do? That's also
I mean, if we're just looking at Oblivion and then Skyrim, it's gonna do totally fine for sure, absolutely. Um, But like, if they just continue they have the golden goose. We're gonna put out a Call of Duty every year. And if money's the goal, then why wouldn't they just double down on that? Just the way in the exact same way Activision was like, we are making all of our studios support studios for Call of Duty. We are going to stop making these smaller things. Say goodbye to Tony Hawk. No, we're just focusing on Call of Duty.
So like
I,
I also don't know what the landscape looks like in a world where Call of Duty's on Game Pass either. Like does
and
that just
they did announce that like this week that it's going to come to Game Pass,
like does that just
which
mean
is
that
kind of a big thing.
more people are just going to be signing up for Game Pass now and like
Well, that's what
it's so
Microsoft
weird.
wants, right? Like that's exactly what they want because we keep seeing the numbers that the Game Pass subscribers has kind of stagnated and it's kind of plateaued. Um,
But like that's why
and
things die is because they want them in an ecosystem with a Call of Duty or whatever, and then something like Hi-Fi Rush that actually has talent and soul behind it just doesn't make the numbers and dies.
well,
That
yeah, and I mean, like it's similar to kind of what the Netflix model is. They're going to
yeah
have these big kind of tentpole releases. These, we're going to have massive, the new season of Stranger Things, blah
yeah
blah blah. And then in between those, you need smaller things to entice me to continue my subscription
right.
so that I'm not just sitting there waiting for it and then binging through like the last year's worth in 1 month. I'm currently not doing that with Game Pass, but I'm also somebody who plays kind of a lot of stuff. But
Yeah
on the more typical, the more average consumer, they probably got them in for Starfield for like a month, maybe two,
yeah.
and maybe they kind of dropped off after that. Like the thing, Hi-Fi Rush was the exact kind of thing that you would want to just kind of sprinkle in there. That's the kind of games Double Fine makes. But clearly, Microsoft is saying that's not enough for them anymore because they didn't greenlight Hi-Fi Rush 2, and then they closed the studio down.
But then right after they close the studio down, Matt Booty's saying we need small games that gives us prestige and awards and some dumb bullshit like that. So it's insane. Like it drives me
Yeah,
nuts.
it's pretty crazy. Those were some like really well liked studios for sure. They definitely had their fans.
Yeah
And so now I'm just wondering, like, if you're not making a large scale game at Xbox, you're probably looking pretty scared.
yeah.
And even if you are a bit more prestige, like Arcane Austin definitely had some like massive hits behind them. Um, if your next game isn't like just blowing up the charts, are you just like you get one chance now and you're only as good as your last game? Like sure, yeah,
Yeah,
Redfall was not great. It underperformed pretty significantly. They're done, that's it? You don't even
it's
get to
crazy.
try again?
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
And then the kind of sentiment I've been also hearing is like the whole like good guy Phil Spencer, like he's kind of losing that. Like
Yeah, he should have never had that though. Like suits don't give a shit. At the end of the he's even said himself, I'm running a fucking business here. Like and yeah, that's fair, but like I don't know why this is honestly it's the same that PC gamers give Gabe Newell. I don't know why people give these like heads of companies just
yeah.
so
I
much
mean, hey,
lax.
Phil is extremely media trained. He was showing up on podcasts like, Redfall is another example. He went on the Kind of Funny podcast and kind of really looked behind the curtain to kind of fill us in on what happened. Like he has a real like good guy, I'm your buddy
Yeah.
persona around him. But then stuff like this, it's like the buck stops with you, bud. Like
Mhm. It should
I'm
anyway.
super curious what happens next month at Summer Game Fest at the Xbox Showcase
Yep.
when he's going to come out and try and get everyone excited about games after just having done this.
Yeah.
It's going to
It's
be an uphill
it's
battle for him
brutal.
for sure.
It's brutal. Yeah, it was such a bummer. I really, like, I really, if there was one thing that I wish that you were here to chat with, it was that. But at least we got to have that chat now, because yeah, that was a brutal one. That hurt. The other thing that well, okay, one of the things I found funny is a couple weeks ago. I don't remember if it was even on air. You and I were saying like, what even is going on with the division or whatever. The answer is that it's getting canceled. That free to play thing got canceled. So I found that funny that
Yeah,
we
I
talked
saw
about it
that. I
semi
mean, they're still
recently.
coming out with the
Yeah.
mobile one still coming out, and they've been working on that thing for a while. I remember playing it. last Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, it's the free to play one. Heartland is has been canceled. I just found it funny that
Wasn't
like
there another one too? Isn't there another? Wasn't there like 3 Division things happening?
yeah,
I remember there
there's
was
the
like a
mobile
lot. It was
one.
like all announced at once.
Heartland was the free to play PC one.
And I want to
There
say there was
must
at least one more. Also, wasn't there a movie or a
yeah,
show
I
happening?
think there was
I don't know.
something like that.
Anyway, yes, I did. Anyway, Heartland, yeah, that got canceled. I did see that. Yeah.
I just found that funny. Just weird timing because we had talked about it semi recently. And then the other thing is that you're the Assassin's Creed guy, as we've established or whatever. What
Yeah.
are your thoughts on Red or Shadow now? I guess as it's known.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. That's a great like setting. I
Yep,
think both the characters seem really cool.
seem
I
neat
like that
so
you get
far.
to play as 2 characters as opposed to like you want the male or female version of one character. Um, Reminds me a little bit of I guess Origins, where you played as both
Mm.
Bayek and his wife every now and then, which I cannot remember the wife's name. You didn't play as her much. Um, but yeah, so yeah, the ninja and then the samurai. And this might surprise, and like I think both those characters are cool. You know, there's tons of people on Twitter who are racists, so that's just that's neither here nor there when they saw that.
There's even more
Um,
people that are just stupid. I've noticed because a lot of
oh, there's a
people.
lot of.
There's a lot of
I
people
would
just
argue most racists are stupid. In fact, I'm gonna
sure.
just say all racists are stupid. Like I'm willing to die on that hill.
Okay, how brave. Um, no, but like a lot of people are also saying like that they want like realism. It's like then you shouldn't be playing Assassin's Creed. What are you fucking talking about? What?
Yeah, that's another good one. So you know this is a series about somebody like jacking into like a magic chair that lets them relive their ancestors' memories because of a precursor race that's trying to blow
And
up
get
the
killing
Earth or whatever.
devices from Da Vinci. Like, shut up, idiot. What do you
The
mean?
wrong, yeah, yeah, that's yeah, the
God, there's
nonsense.
so many stupid people. I think it looks neat. The problem I have with it is I don't like Ubisoft's pricing models going forward. I don't like the like if you pre-order the second highest edition, you get like like you get content that's different or whatever. You get a mission or something that you just won't get in the other versions. I think that's gross. Like I just don't like their pricing model for stuff.
Well, can't you just still get the standard edition? You know, $70 you get the game.
You can, but then I'm just not getting the full game now because people that bought the other edition get like a full side quest thing that I won't see. Like that's shitty. That doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is you're sure this is Assassin's Creed. There's going to be enough side quests for you. There's going to be too many side quests for you. So like don't worry about missing out on one.
But it obviously this one is good if they're putting it behind a paywall, right? Why else would they?
See, I might argue the other way is like if it was really that good, they would put it in the game.
Nah, see, I'm thinking the other way. The reason it's behind a paywall is because it's one of the better ones.
Like, I will be shocked if this game launches and there are like, you know, articles written about how it's a real bummer that this extra mission was paid for because it was incredible. I don't think anyone is going to even
No, the
care.
article is going to be people are mad that black guys exist in Japan. That's going to be the article because that gets clicked. But that doesn't mean that the fact that they're paywalling content isn't disgusting. I fucking hate Ubisoft. They're doing this with Star Wars as well. Like, just going forward, they're testing the market out. And the problem is that people are too fucking stupid to not buy the thing. So speaking with your wallet doesn't work because enough people will be okay with these gross practices that it's just going to go forward. So whatever. It is what it is. It's too bad too because like this game looks so far fun. Like we haven't seen gameplay, but I like the setting. So that's kind of what I'm going on.
We'll definitely see more next month
Yeah.
during because they already announced their June event, so I'm sure we'll see it there.
Yep.
I need to play through Mirage at some point, just kind
Oh
of
yeah.
get through that real quick so that I'm all caught up.
You've played every one of them,
And
right?
I have not finished every one of them. I think I've at least started except Mirage I have not started. And if we're not including like some of the smaller stuff. I don't think I played any like Liberation on the PSP.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
wouldn't count those. I kind of just mean like the mainline ones, I guess, the main big ones.
yeah, there was a couple there where I definitely didn't finish them because they were coming out like 2 in 1 year.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
but like I've played most of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I need to kind of get Mirage, and it is a shorter one, so I need to kind of cross that off the list. But yeah, there's a lot to play.
cool. All right,
All right,
yeah,
should we do
that
some
was pretty much it.
questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, if you want to send a question in, topdownperspective at gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. And you could sound like Dedinsky, who writes, what's a gaming achievement you have that you felt wasn't really appreciated? All right, I've brought this one up a lot, but I did the Bladder of Steel achievement
Sure. Yeah.
in Rockman 2, and not enough people give a shit about that. I even bring it up to this day.
Yeah.
No one cares that I played through the entire set list without pausing or failing once.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
Or just, I've also done the endless set lists on Rockman 1 and 2 on Expert, and that's not easy.
Sure. Yeah. Um wasn't really. Are there any gaming achievements that are really appreciated? Like besides like speed runs or something by like a speedrun community, I guess, like world records. Like what's an achievement that if somebody's like, I got this achievement, I did this, you're like, holy shit. Wow. Like I super
I would love to meet I would love to meet one other person who's done the Bladder of Steel achievement. gotten that gotten that achievement. Here's another one I did. I played in Burnout, original Burnout Paradise. I did every single thing, including all of the online multiplayer challenges in every combination of players, 2 to 8. So some of them you can only do it with 7 people. It is not easy getting people to get their shit together and barrel roll over each other. And when you do that, you get a special car decal that has like diamonds on it. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna wear that because no one's done this.
Yeah, no, totally. Like on that same thing, any game that involves raiding is an achievement that you can get like a group of people to not have their heads up their ass for an hour or two and kind of come together to do a thing that you couldn't do solo. Like any raid in any MMO ever, if you accomplish it, is like an achievement that's worthwhile that nobody gives a shit about.
So do you have one? Did you do a raid or something?
No, because
Maybe.
I don't care about achievements. I don't think any of this stuff matters, so I don't like.
Well, it doesn't have to be like Xbox achievements.
The thing
It's
is,
just
I
something
don't
that you've achieved.
I don't appreciate like things like this because I don't care about any of it. So like, I don't. The thing is that like I don't consider them achievements. They're just gaming to me. I don't care.
Well, I mean, when you watch like Summer Games on Quick, you think those are some pretty cool achievements, don't you?
Yeah, like speed runs are always, but like I feel those are appreciated. People, I think in general, most people are like, okay, that's pretty cool that this person can do this thing.
But you don't have one that you've done?
Not that I can think of, no.
Okay. All right.
BGC Kenny writes, TDP is approached by a savvy-looking businessman. He and his business buddies are looking to get Calgary another sports team. So why are they talking to you? Well, this businessman happens to be taken in with the idea of this team being the Calgary Genies. Son of a bitch. Calgary Genies. And having one and only Gabriel Genie be the mascot. They will offer you a good deal to the rights plus some money for Hypercole 64. What? For designing him, as well as lifetime box seats. Just for kicks, the ability to be in the Gabriel mascot costume once per season. Do you take this offer? No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I take this offer. So are we gonna sell off the Hypercool 64 did the fan art of Gabriel Eni.
Okay. That makes sense. I just looked them up.
So are we? They're asking, would we be willing to sell off the rights to Gabriel Eni to this new Calgary sports team?
Do we have the rights to it?
Well, it's our mascot, I guess, right? So
I guess.
So what we get in return is lifetime box seats, And then the option to be the mascot costume once per season. Honestly, that's more exciting to me because I just think that would be very fun. Um, my question is, what sport? Because like it'd have to be something I would want to watch. Like I don't want box seats to like darts.
Yeah, I like so the answer is yes, because why wouldn't we if it's money or whatever? It's not like if we have box seats I would have to
Well,
use
it's not
them.
technically money. It's box seats, and you get to be the mascot once a season.
That's true. I mean, yeah, I probably wouldn't take advantage of either of those, but why not? That's funny. So I would do it for the lull.
So any sport you're down, or do you have
Any
like?
sport, because I don't care. Like I wouldn't go.
Yeah, it depends what the sport is. Because if it's something like darts or bowling, like nah, I don't. Nah, I'm gonna hang on to this mascot for something better.
Oh, I see. You're holding out. Okay, if we can hold out for a better deal, then I'm down with that for sure.
I'm just thinking, does Calgary have like a basketball team?
Oh, surely they have like a university one or something, but I have no
I mean,
idea.
the UFC has basketball, but I'm just trying to think of like what's a big sport that Calgary doesn't have a team for. They
We
no longer have baseball,
I
right?
was
They
gonna
got rid
say
of
we
that a
used
while
to
ago.
have baseball, so we don't have that anymore. We don't have a basketball
Um,
team, but like most of
oh,
Canada doesn't have a basketball team.
right. Okay. Well, I mean, I think basketball would be a good fit. Give Calgary a basketball team. I want to be the mascot once a season, and I feel like
Okay.
box seats at a basketball game would actually make sense. That's a thing, right?
Yeah, surely. I mean, I fucking hate basketball, so I don't care. But
I don't like basketball either. I mean, I don't watch like any sport
right,
really.
yeah.
So I just don't want to. I just want to watch something that's like people are gonna be there. It's gonna be like a thing. Like
Let's
I
get
want a
into the
sport.
international market. We're doing kabaddi, the Indian tag sport. I'm in. That I will
Oh fuck
watch.
yeah, that sounds. I would love to play. That sounds great. I just love playing tag.
Have
So
you seen kabaddi? You might actually really love it. It's a lot of movement. It's crazy.
I've definitely seen competitive tag before. I don't know if it was called a kabaddi, but
Yeah.
anyway, does Calgary have a handball team?
I don't know. Probably
I
not.
met someone on my trip that does competitive handball. I was like,
Oh.
"Fuck, you're so cool."
No, probably not.
All right, Rasterman writes, a few days ago, a Twitter user was able to showcase a version of the original Pokemon that can be played in a text-based format using the latest model of AI technology. Is
Hmm.
this true or is this a hypothetical?
I have
You know
no
about this?
idea. That sounds
Okay, all right.
true.
While this can be impressive as a tech demo, it got me wondering, where did it take its input data and whether it constitutes as some form of
I mean, this
piracy?
is the AI discussion in general, so sure. Okay.
After discussing this with some people, they argued that since there's so much Pokemon content on the internet, oh, they're saying in the chat this was true. It was pretty cool. Okay, because there's so much Pokemon content on the internet, this can be quote emulation of that, making it perfectly legal and not applicable for a
Oh,
DMCA from
that's not how
Nintendo.
that works, my dude. No. You can't
With
do
all
that.
this into account, suppose the capabilities of this functionality improve to the point where GTA 6 releases, and the next day you can play a text-based version of it with a given prompt. Would that be considered piracy?
So, I think technically yes, it would, but that you're getting such like a different experience that I don't know if you could even you might be able to argue it, honestly.
That's kind of my point is like these are text-based versions of games that are not text-based games. So it's like it's a completely
It's
different
completely
version
different
of this game.
experience. Sure.
Um
God, that's funny.
and so like with the Pokemon one, and I guess with GTA, as long as you don't use the name, how would you really even know
The
that you're just
Pokemon
ripping
one,
off Pokemon?
yeah, it would be a lot of names and stuff, and I think it maps closer to because Pokemon basically is just a UI where you choose words that mean doing a certain number of something to a thing. So like GTA 6, just like this weird open world text thing would be kind of
Yeah, it's just
amazing.
open world crime game.
Pretty
Like
much, yeah.
there's a like hey, when GTA like 4 was coming out, every third game was an open world crime game.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Um and even like I mean, look at Pal World. You do the Pokemon stuff in there. Sometimes the models also are Pokemon models, and they seemed like they went fine. Like they haven't been taken down.
Hmm.
So now you're completely changing the genre. I I don't even know if I would consider it emulation or if you just made like a fan game
Yeah, you made a fan
that was
game for sure.
inspired,
I think. Yeah,
or
yeah.
the AI made a fan game. Yeah, in the chat, yeah. Playing Drug Wars on a TI-86.
That was my favorite game to play when I was done my tests.
Yep.
Man, oh,
So I don't think it's piracy, but I'm also not a lawyer.
you're not?
Surprise.
Oh.
Nope.
Uh,
I'm two lawyers in a trench coat.
I think you could argue it is not piracy, but you couldn't call it GTA's. Like, you have to change some stuff around. You just can't take somebody's copyright name.
Yeah.
Suku writes, hypothetically saying, what would you do with TDP if your co-hosts are maimed horribly in a terrible July accident? July accident? Are you
I'm gonna Google what that
unable
is.
to continue co-hosting? I don't
Something
know
actually
if I've
matters,
ever
but
said this directly on TDP, but I've definitely said it to people. If something ever happens where Sean can't do the show anymore, the show dies. Just straight up. This is
oh,
Sean's
this is a
show.
sport. So talking about weird sports, this I have actually seen this sport. It's kind of like a big scoop ball kind of thing.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah. Yeah.
um, if the hosts wanted to stop, would we continue doing it? Probably not.
Straight up, if something happened to Sean, this show dies. This show is Sean for the most part, and I
Well,
feel
I was gone for a couple weeks. You did an episode.
yeah,
There are episodes without me, but yeah, no. I think if anyone like permanently stopped, I think we would probably call it in.
yeah. It's probably going to happen one
Uh,
day, just so people know, because we can't go our full life doing it. But I mean, as far as I can tell,
hey, never say never. I mean, technically, I can't go my full life doing it because I didn't start my life doing it.
true.
Um,
You could go the
but
rest
like
of your life doing it, though.
I could still go the rest of my life doing it. Like I don't plan to stop playing games.
Yeah. So
Uh,
if like John or I were maimed, apparently, would you just continue on with the other one for a while?
I would probably have to ask if they would want to, but it would definitely be. I don't know if I would want to. It would also still be weird being
Fair
like, "Hey
enough.
guys,
Yeah.
Paul's dead." Um, but John and I are here. Hey John, what have you been playing?
Yeah. Some housekeeping.
All
Paul
right.
died.
Yeah. By the way, Paul's still not on the episode this week.
He's
He's
dead.
still dead.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, waste of resources. Right. Which do you think there are more of? Sites of lost grace in Elden Ring, which are the bonfires,
Hmm.
or people named Grace who were born after Elden Ring's release date?
Oh, what a weird question. Holy Christ. Okay, hold on.
So Elden Ring came out 2 years ago, right?
People named Grace, probably, just because of how many people there are in the world.
Okay, Elden Ring is came out in February 2 years ago, so it's been out for 27 months.
Okay, make a guess. I'm going to say more people named Grace. I'm going to see if I can find some stats here.
I also think probably more people named Grace. So what? Okay, are you looking up the number of lost Grace sites?
I'm looking up how many people were named Grace in
Oh,
2023.
you're doing the harder one. Okay, I'll look up the other one then.
No, not named similar, just straight up Grace. So apparently, boys versus girls, 0.27% of people named Grace were male, and 99.73 were female.
Wait, there's a bunch of guys. There's a bunch of guys out there named Grace.
Apparently,
Okay,
I don't
didn't know that
have
was a.
stats for 2023. The first one is 2020.
That's not helpful.
No,
Okay,
it isn't.
well, I got the other answer. I will say, because of the current Google stuff, it's the AI answer. So as far as I know, maybe this thing is not a real answer at all. Pizza glue.
No,
But
we're
there,
right. We're right.
you got the
7,531.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so the Google AI says there's 314.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, that DLC's coming. They could add some more.
They just have to add 7,000 some. All right. The final one here is a like game of some sort, kind of like a
Okay.
quiz. And I think I can pull this up because I started using Discord properly when we do the show, so I can actually use it properly. This is from Phantom
Okay.
Aegis. Hello, ahoy TDP crew.
Wait,
It's time to. Sorry.
wait. Are you sure? In the Google Doc it says it's not. It's someone else.
Oh, you know what? There's one question in between. Phantom Aegis is next. This is for Hayes.
Okay, I'll read this one because you have
Yep, I
the
have it
quiz
open.
up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hayes Hero EX writes, when is gonna be the year where everybody starts wearing silver or metallic color clothing, and how early or later will you join that trend once it starts?
Didn't they try that in like the 80s or something? Kind of,
I,
kind of more like
you would know better than I would.
like glam or something. Is that like the start
Yeah.
of people trying
Well,
it?
yeah, but they're talking like futuristic stuff, right? Like, in the future, everyone's
Sure,
gonna be
yeah,
wearing everything's gonna be metal. I don't think it's ever gonna happen. I know fashion is cyclical, um, and it's just not gonna get that. That was never like a big thing.
yeah.
Will I ever start? No, I'm gonna continue my current fashion sense forever. You can take my skinny jeans off of my dead corpse, you Gen Zers.
True, true. Okay, now from Phantom Aegis. Ahoy TDP crew, it's time to test your Pokemon knowledge once again. I'll be using both Pokedex number and Pokedex entries this time around. I guess we did this once already. I'll
All
keep
right,
to Generation 1 Pokemon entries only, but
cool.
use their most recent entries. I have
Okay,
excluded the 8 you've guessed before, apparently, which are Electrode, Fearow, Magmar, Tentacruel, Gloom, Ghastly, Persian, and Lapras. With okay, so it won't be any of those because that was from the last time, I
right.
suppose.
Yeah.
47 legends. Oh, okay. Okay, I understand. Number 47, legends. Mushroom lacking specimens of this Pokemon lie unmoving in the forest, leading credence to the hypothesis that a large mushroom is in control of Blank's actions. This one's easy, I think.
Parasect?
Yes, Parasect.
Okay,
Yep.
got it. I thought it was Paris until they said the large mushroom part.
Yeah. So I understand now. These are all Pokemon from the first generation, but it's the Pokedex and the most recent Pokedex entry to try to throw us off, I guess. That one was pretty obvious
Yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah.
Number 123. This is from Violet. The sharp scythes on its forearms become increasingly sharp by cutting through hard objects. This is Scyther, 100%.
Yeah. Yep.
Answer is Scyther. Number 78, Legends. Fiery mane aglow, Blank darts like an arrow across the land. This prodigiously swift creature can traverse the vast region of Hisui in a day and a half. This
Okay.
is the I can't remember. Oh my god, it's the fire pony. Ponyta? Is that it?
Rapidash?
Okay.
Ponyta's the smaller one.
You're right.
It evolves into
Rapidash.
Rapidash.
Yeah.
I was also thinking maybe Arcanine, but I guess it doesn't have a fiery
A
mane.
mane. Yeah.
The I'm gonna guess Rapidash.
It's Rapidash, I think, yeah. Yes, it is Rapidash.
Nice. All right.
Number 106, Violet. It has complete control over the ligaments in its legs, expanding and contracting them to double the reach of its kicks.
Oh, okay. I know it too.
This has to be Hitmonlee.
Yep.
Because Hitmonchan or whatever is the punching one, right?
Yep. And then Hitmontop is the spinning one, but that's
Right.
not Gen 1.
Right. It is Hitmonlee.
And then there's a baby one, which I can't remember. Okay, we were right, Lee.
Yep, we were right. And the final one, number 145 from Sword. When its feathers rub together, they produce a crackling sound like the zapping of electricity. That's why this Pokemon is called Blank. Pretty obviously Zapdos or whatever, right?
Zapdos. Also, the number, it's like, okay, so it's got to be like one of the legendaries is at the end of the list there.
Yeah. Zapdos. No penalty for not saying Galarian Zapdos. I purposely grabbed the Sword Galarian entry that fits both versions. I didn't even know what version you grabbed, my sir, so that's fine. That's
All
fine.
right. Too easy. I'm curious now if it was that easy last time.
I'm
I
curious
don't
now
remember.
if it would have been harder if you had picked the Gen 1 descriptions, because those seemed really easy. Maybe.
I mean,
Let me
they could
look
have
up
easily
like
made it harder for you by just picking like not a Gen 1 Pokemon, and then you would have just been like, I don't know what we're talking about.
anything after Gen 3. I actually just
Oh
don't
yeah?
know. Gen 2 and Gen 3 I might be able to muddle through, but it would be
Okay.
really difficult for me. After Gen 3 I'm screwed. Like, I don't know. Unless it's like,
Okay.
even if you told me this Pokemon is Keys, like, I actually don't know what that Pokemon's name is, even
That's the
though I
thing
can
is, yeah,
picture it.
I feel like a lot of them, I've seen them, I can picture them, because like the key one, for example,
Yeah,
Kefli, I don't fully remember the name though.
you're right. It is some like Clef Key or something. It's something like that. You're right.
Something like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Reused in Fire Red. Like for Parasect, let me just see what it said for the first thing, if I can. Why is there so much information about Pokemon when all I want is the stupid blurb that it says? Host parasite pair in which the parasite mushroom has taken over the host bug, prefers damp places. Yeah, it still would have been easy, I think.
Yeah.
Weird.
All right, that does it for questions. If you want to send questions or a quiz, I guess, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What is your game of the week?
Crow Country. Why don't you pick two?
I'm going to pick, a couple. So that first week probably would have been Hades 2. The second week probably would have been Animal Well.
Nice.
Is there a third week?
No.
I'll just leave it there for now.
Cool.
Hellblade 2 is up there, though. All right, thanks, everyone, for listening. I am going to go to sleep.
Good night.